And then he decided to go to a very public screening for his friend Mison Harriman, who I believe is head of, South Bank Center.
Well, he had to step down from that.
Well, yes, but his film Shoot the People, Harry didn't understand why that was a problem, because he was like, no, Mishan's my friend and he's a photographer and he does shoot people with his camera, giggle. And then, of course, Misan wears that shirt, the Anti-Apartheid Club, which, can you discuss this so that people know exactly what this means?
Well, Misan has had to step down from his role at this the South Bank because of some comments that he made that were anti-Semitic. And this anti-apartheid club isn't just some slogan on a t-shirt. It is slogan. That's a good one. That's a new one. It's really talking about Palestine and Gaza and showing political allegiance. And that, for the royals, again, is an absolute no. The whole point about being a royal is that rising above politics and trying to support people of all causes, of all ethnicities, of all genders. And unfortunately, Harry sort of walked slap bang into that the minute he got off a plane. And again, if he had the right people around him, Paula, this honestly, he wouldn't have got into that situation. He wouldn't have been placed in that awkward, uncomfortable lineup, because somebody would be saying, Harry, you can't stand next to him, get him to change his shirt, do something, but that's not working. This is what the role of PRs do. And the reason I do my pod, as you know, is to try and give the picture behind the scene of what we're doing all the time, which is not spinning and lying. It's protecting reputations and building reputations. And if he had somebody there to help him, this would not have happened.
Well, it's also interesting to me because, part of what Misan did was he retweeted or re-X'd, whatever you call it now, retweeted a post that said Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump, who are Jewish, are selling out the Albania coastline to Jewish billionaires, and they're going to use it as an Israeli military front, whatnot. Now, the problem is Harry gave an anti-Semitic speech, which a lot of people, or not, I'm sorry. Harry gave a speech against anti-Semitism. But a lot of people thought it was just lip service, because you look at his history. Again, long ago, when he wore the Nazi uniform at the fancy dress party, which of course he blamed William and Catherine for. But in recent years, when Archwell was up and running, and it was a foundation and not philanthropies, he and Meghan gave over $50,000 to a charity that was run by a clear anti-Semite. Then when he and Meghan did their Jordan tour, they went and hung out with charities who had not just, there were allegations that they had participated in October 7th attacks, but were vocal supporters of Hamas. And then in that vein, went to Australia, Bondi Beach, and just sold the clothes that Meghan was wearing, which a lot of people found were inappropriate because it was a blue and white striped shirt that looked like a lot of Jews thought, the Auschwitz uniform. So they don't, and they've also been insanely quiet on all Jewish problems. They never said a word about October 7th. So does this compound the issue that even though Harry gave an anti-Semitic, an anti-Semitic speech, does this hanging out with Misan hurt him and make him look like it was just lip service or not?
It's just another thing on another thing on another thing. They flip flip-flop, they flim-flam. You don't actually know where you stand with them. And I don't know whether they know where they stand either, because there is no continuity of stance or of message. And this is something that I spend a lot of time speaking to not only celebrities and people about, but also companies and organizations. So you need to know what your value set is. You need to know what your principles are, what your vision is, what your mission is, most importantly, what your value set is. And these two don't appear to have that down. And if they did, they would be able to measure any of their activities against those things. However, they are very scattergun, very erratic, very emotional in everything they do. And it is not strategic because of that. And this is my ever ending problem with them as a duo, because they claim to want to have these lofty positions of service, but they cannot enact elegantly or well if they have no value set.
Well, actually, I hate to disagree with you, but I do think they have a value set, and that is money.
Oh.
I think their position is all about how to make money. And you actually had a great line in your recent Substack. And for those of you who don't know, Jackie runs When Pop Culture Meets PR, not just on YouTube, but on Substack. And she wrote a brilliant article in which it said, oh dear.
About service and sacrifice.
About how they wanted to live a life of service, but it's really about self-service for them. You guys, thanks again. Like, subscribe, hit the hype, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. I will be doing a Sussex crash report on the weekend. It's just, I am dying. Yes, Megan and the kids are coming. I know. A lot of you all were like, you don't know what to talk about. I swear I do, or at least what the people tell me that they tell me. So have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. Happy hump day, and talk soon. Take care.